Chris Eubank Jr. knocks Avni Yildirim out in the third round to retain his IBO super middleweight world title and advance to the semi-finals of the World Boxing Super Series. I picked Eubank to win, but I thought it would be a much tougher fight than it turned out to be. He just simply blew Avni Yildirim away. Now, where do I even start? He dropped Yildirim in the first round with an uppercut, which is Eubank's best shot. And when the punch landed and Yildirim went down on one knee briefly, I was wondering to myself, has Eubank's power improved or is Yildirim a bit chinny? Maybe it's a bit of both. In the second round, Yildirim came forward and he was putting Eubank under a lot of pressure. But I've been saying for a long time that Eubank's defense is actually underrated and it's better than people realize it is or give him credit for. And I've been saying that for a long time. Certain fights Eubank did get hit, but only when he decided that he wanted to be reckless. When he decides that he actually wants to be slick and elusive, he hardly gets hit at all. I realize that's at a certain level, but I think he can take it with him as he moves up in levels. Be one of the most elusive guys in the super middleweight division. I actually believe that. Now, as I say, in the second round, Yildirim applied a bit more pressure. Wasn't catching Eubank with anything too clean other than a few jabs, but he was at least trying and making it competitive. In the third round, he tried to do the same thing, but he caught the worst of the exchanges, Eubank Jr. having the way quicker hands, was able to catch Yildirim and unload a vicious salvo of punches on him. Actually, he opened up on him at the start of the third. There was a little break in the action. Then he started unloading again towards the middle of the third, and he just cleaned Avni Yildirim out. Yildirim went down heavy from a hook to the head at the end of a big combination. The referee waved it off almost before Yildirim hit the canvas. Now, I actually have a problem with a stoppage, and some people are really getting the wrong end of the stick on social media when I've been telling people that it was a bad stoppage. They're saying, what do you mean it was a bad stoppage? You couldn't have gone on in that state. I'm not saying he could have gone on in that state. What I'm saying is the stoppage was premature. He should have at least given the guy a count. The guy wasn't out cold or even close to being out cold. As soon as he hit the canvas, he rolled over and tried to get up. So he should have at least given him a count, let him get to his feet, look in his eyes, see how he responds to questions, and then decide whether you're going to stop the fight or let him go on. That's what I think should have happened, rather than just waving it straight away. When referees wave fights off straight away, that's normally when somebody's out cold. But this guy wasn't out cold or close to it. And some people say, did you see his eyes? Well, I've seen people's eyes before when they've gone down. Did you see Curtis Stevens' eyes when he got hit by Golovkin? Did you see Andrew Galotta's eyes when he got hit by Lennox Lewis from the first knockdown? They let it go on. See how the guy responds when he gets up. Maybe the referee would have looked at him and he wouldn't have responded to the questions properly and he would have stopped it. But in a championship fight like that, I just felt like that type of stoppage was a little off. But still, it was a great performance by Chris Eubank Jr. Again, I don't know if Eubank Jr.'s power is maybe improved or Yildirim's chin is not that great, or maybe it's a bit of both. One thing I will say is, though, Eubank Jr. can actually fight. And he's got a lot of haters out there, a lot of people who are determined to believe that Eubank Jr. is garbage. And, in my Facebook group, I've got people constantly telling me Eubank Jr. is trash, he's garbage, he can't fight. I don't know what you're looking at. He clearly can fight. A lot of people are deluded about Eubank Jr. because they don't like him for whatever reason. And reality doesn't care who you do and don't like. That's the thing that some of you people have to get to grips with. Reality does not care if you like or dislike a particular fighter. The reality is Eubank Jr. can actually fight. He's not a fraud. He's not a hype job, nothing like that. He's actually a legitimate world level fighter. That's what he is. And one of the people actually who still seems to be deluded about Eubank is James DeGale. See, George Groves knows that Eubank's for real because he sparred countless rounds with Eubank Jr. But James DeGale's still deluded about Eubank. Talking about, he's going to have this one fight against Yildirim, then he's going to pull out the tournament. he ain't going to pull out the tournament. Are you nuts? The girl's just totally deluded when it comes to Eubank. I was saying to somebody earlier today on social media, maybe he'll pop up in the comment section and confirm this. I was saying to him on Facebook earlier today that I actually think Eubank Jr. will beat George Groves. And I think he's probably going to stop him late, either stop him late or win on points. I know George Groves has got a totally different style to Yildirim, so I'm not being reactionary here because I was saying this before the Yildirim fight. Totally different style to Yildirim, and Eubank does tend to struggle more with boxers, with guys who know how to box long range and whatnot. He likes guys who come straight at him like Yildirim. They're tailor-made for him, tailor-made for his uppercut. George Groves is not one of those tailor-made fighters for Eubank. But there's a familiarity there because Eubank has sparred with him so much. So he knows his moves, he knows his rhythm, he knows the kind of shots he throws, the kind of angles he attacks from. And I've been saying for a very long time that from what I see with my eyes, George Groves is jaded. He is a jaded fighter. I'm telling you now, George Groves is not the same as he was prior to the Carl Froch fights. The energy levels, the sharpness, the athleticism that he used to have is gone. Now, every time I watch George Groves fight, it looks like he's forcing his punches out. There don't seem to be that snap and energy behind his shots that there used to be. It's all very forced and labored from George Groves. And I think that will be one of the deciding factors in the Eubank fight. If he gets past Jamie Cox, we don't know. Groves seems to be very confident of getting past Cox, but, we'll see. If he does, I think I'm going to be picking Eubank. Yeah, I think he's the fresher guy. He's younger. He's more energetic, more sharpness. I think he's got a better chin. And he may not hit as hard as George Groves, but I don't necessarily think he has to because Groves ain't got the best chin. I'm sure Eubank has got enough power to hurt George Groves. That's what I'm sure about. Yeah. So that evens it out. If they can both hurt each other, then it evens the situation out, doesn't it? Then it really don't matter who is the bigger puncher. And that's assuming George Groves can even hurt Eubank because Eubank's never been hurt so far as a professional. I know he ain't fought any big punches at world level yet, but normally if a guy's got any type of issue with the chin, you see signs of it even before he reaches world level. We've never even seen the slightest sign that Eubank Jr. has got any issues with his chin. So he appears to have some good whiskers on him. Can George Groves even hurt him? I don't know. We'll find out. Let me know what you felt about Eubank Jr.'s performance against Avni Yildirim. Were you, like me, a little taken aback by how quickly it ended? Did you expect a tougher fight like I did? Or did you expect a blowout? I didn't see many people predicting a blowout, but I guess there must have been some. Maybe you knew more about Yildirim than I did. Do you think that Yildirim is a bit chinny? Or do you think Eubank Jr. has just improved his power more and he's grown into the weight? And let me know what you think about Groves against Cox. Who's going to win that fight? If Groves comes through that, who would you pick out of Groves and Eubank Jr.? And tell me why. All right, drop it all in the comment section below. It's happening. I'm out.